Something that I'm going to do because I think it'll be fun. I'm going to take the movie Twilight and see if I can give it a Marxist analysis. Now, very overtly on the surface, there is a class stratifying aspect to it, a very class-based aspect to it. We have this woman, Bella, where she's trying to choose between two men, between the vampire Edward and the werewolf Jacob. Edward is from a rich family, upper class. They got money, cars, material possessions. To be with Edward is to not just be with Edward, but to be among his socioeconomic status as well. To be with him is to be a part of his class as well. So there's the tremendous material incentive for Bella to go along with him. To choose him is symbolic of choosing materialism over, say, something evil like altruism. To be with Jacob. Jacob is the werewolf. He's not rich. He comes from lower class dwellings. He's not wealthy. He's a working class type. To be with him is symbolic of choosing altruism. To choose something that's not of a material gain, but something that would have a deeper meaning. Of course, I haven't seen the end of the movie. I haven't seen all the movies, but I'm pretty sure she ends up with Edward. She ends up with the rich guy. And doing so is a continuation of capitalist propaganda, worship of material goods and consumption and whatnot. If she ended up going with Jacob, then I'm wrong. I don't actually know how the whole thing ended. I think even with this class-based element, there's also a racist element to it. I mean, obviously, the vampire, a symbol of bourgeois lifestyle, very decadent, very luxurious, also very white. Regardless of what race a vampire is, they're still very, very white. Now, that's not to say vampires are supposed to be symbolic of white males. In this movie, in the case, it is to overemphasize his whiteness in his class-based status. Edward is the iconic white American male. He's young. He's good looking. He has material possessions. He comes from a good family. He has money. As opposed to who? Jacob, who is a Native American. And how is Jacob portrayed? He's portrayed as lower class, or not having class, being a savage. He's even given the werewolf character. The werewolf is a savage, a mindless, unthinking brute, as opposed to the bourgeois, sophisticated white character of Edward and the whole white society, and its portrayal of Native Americans as savages. So I think the movie, aside from having a very class-based message, a social stratifying aspect to it, I think also on a deeper level that, well, not really that much deeper, a racist element to it as well. Of course, along with the racist element comes with the very anti-feminist element to it as well. The question that even one person asked me, do I think Bella is a feminist? And the woman who wrote the book, I think her name was Stephanie Meyer, said that Bella was a feminist, which is just tremendously ridiculous. Bella is always being torn by her emotions between two of these men, reducing her to something, a person who acts with their emotions as opposed to a logical choice, as opposed to a thinking being. However, there's also the continual idea of her being property, two men fighting over her like ownership, thus relegating her to the position as an object, as opposed to a person who is free to make a decision. And not even to mention the whole theme of her, having to be rescued and her being weak, and the two men are strong and she needs them to protect her, and that the whole continual damsel in distress theme. So I think, but personally I think overall there is a socioeconomic stratification aspect to it. I think there's also a deeper racist aspect to it. And I think there's a very anti-feminist message to it as well. Although I wonder that truly anti-feminist message, as opposed to what Stephanie Meyer, the woman who wrote it, says. I'm wondering if it's perhaps her Mormon beliefs coming through in the book. I don't really know Mormonism that well, and I don't know if there are really any Mormon elements within the book, but that is certainly the way it appears to me. So I definitely believe that there's a social and economic aspect to it. What I think is a very heavy racist element to it, and definitely an anti-feminist aspect to it.